Okay, people, it's been, well, let's be real. This is a late review. I know it is. I have been tired for the last few days. It has been difficult for me to stay awake. But finally, I'm like, look, I am a fair reviewer. I am going to get through this. And honestly, I'm going to say this. I'm glad I did. I really am. And I'm going to start off with the opener. I was really I really kind of expected the fact that they were going to talk about the big fast count that happened at the Night of Champions. And the way they set that up was actually pretty good. I'm happy that Daniel Bryan was able to have at least 24 hours with the belt, but it was a given that Triple H was going to come out and actually address that. And the way that he did it was the one thing that I was thinking in the back of my mind. I'm like, this win is tainted. This win is not a legit win. It is tainted because of what the ref did. And he pretty much said the exact same thing that I was thinking. But then when the ref came out and he kind of confronted him, it kind of put another thing in the back of your head. Who set the ref up? Who set the ref up to do that? Who told the ref to do that? Who's really behind this whole thing? So honestly, that was really great. That's what the one thing that this storyline is actually doing right. It's setting up so many questions in the back of your head. It's making you it's making you very interested to continue to watch. And even though in the end the ref didn't make it, he ended up being fired. It really does show me that they're really changing Triple H's character in a 180 degrees. 180 degrees. What I mean by that is he went from being a heel COO to actually being a COO, which makes me happy because I don't want him to be a Neo Vince. I want him to be Triple H, the COO. I want him to be the guy that's going to take over the company in the future when Vince McMahon, whenever he decides to step down. I want him to be the future. I want him to be the guy that's going to surpass Vince and do what he didn't do and make it better. And that's what it really showed me when he made those decisions. It showed me that he is truly a businessman. Not a heel businessman, but a true businessman. And that's what I love about that. The fact that he fired a corrupt referee, regardless of whether or not he was paid off or not, he fired him because of that reason. And also the fact, and this is the one thing that really did make it stand out for me, is the fact that he took the belt from Daniel Bryan and did not give it to Randy Orton. He ended up literally just making it, just keeping the belt and just pretty much just having it out of reach from anyone having it until they're able to figure out what's going on. And I think that was the best move. I really do. And it made me feel that he's a true businessman. But as for Stephanie, yeah, she's starting to revert to her old, ridiculously annoying 25-year-old heel self that she was during the McMahon Helmsley era. And it's something that doesn't really sit well with me because I hated that era with a freaking passion. But she's starting to go back to her 25-year-old ways because, let's face it, that's all she knows. She can't be a really good heel without reverting to being like her dad, or either being her dad or going back to how she was during the McMahon Helmsley era. She's just not really that good at being a heel. She's good at being a businesswoman and maybe having a few quick-witted words with people. Like she's really good on she's really good with words. She's good when it comes to a war with words now, but she's a legitimate businesswoman. But she's not really great at being a heel. She kind of sucks at it. I mean, well, I'm not gonna say she sucks at it. She just goes back to who she was, and I just couldn't stand her as her 25-year-old self. That's just me. But personally, she's more of a heel than her husband. And that's the one thing that kind of makes me wonder, are they going to split up? Like, is she going to go her own way? And is he going to stick to being a businessman? Or is she just going to do whatever she wants? That's the one thing that kind of makes me wonder. And speaking of that, there was a segment between Triple H, Stephanie, and Randy Orton. Randy Orton is usual being his whole cowardly heel self, saying, "It's my belt. What is going on? What?" You pretty much know what happened. But the fact is, she practically stated the one thing that has been bugging me when the storyline began. How does this fit into their past? How does this fit into what Randy Orton has done with your family? Practically destroyed your family right and left. What he did to you, what he did to Triple H. She kind of brought it to a head. And it really just showed me at that very moment how completely kinky and incredibly twisted she can be. Like, seriously, that must be one kinky woman. The fact that she's like, you're not the face of the WWE. You used to you handcuff my husband to a post and pile drive me in the ring. I'm like, and I'm like, they DT me in the ring. I'm like, you must be a really kinky woman. Seriously. So after hearing that, I'm gonna let that go and keep it rolling. And besides the whole affectionate angle, let's talk about Paul Heyman. Now, I didn't really have a chance to see the complete segment with Paul Heyman because it got cut. I have satellite storms, it happens. But regardless of that, the only thing that it cut back to was Paul Heyman kissing Ryback on the cheek. Yeah, dude, aren't you a bully? Like, honestly, Ryback is a bully. He's probably one of the most annoying bullies that there are, but you are a bully nonetheless. Why would you literally accept a man to kiss you on the cheek and be happy about it? That's not what bullies do. I mean, I know bullies need love, and that's probably why they're becoming bullies, but no, not with Ryback. No. That just, no. Moving on from there. Why on earth are you gonna have a number one contenders match for the tag team titles before the Primetime Players has a rematch? I don't know. Something I really couldn't figure out. It was a great match, nonetheless. Don't get me wrong. But there's one thing that's missing. The Wyatt family. Where's the Wyatt family? You're seeing so many vignettes and so many video packages of the Wyatt family being creepy, but we just haven't seen the Wyatt family. And I'm like, where are the Wyatts? They weren't even in the number one contenders match last night. And they're a tag team-ish. I mean, they're a family, but they do have two guys that can become a tag team. Where are the Wyatts? Come on, enlighten me here. And where is Kane? Can we please bring that into the storyline too? I kind of want to know what's going on. Really. I kind of want to know what happened to my monster. Or if he's going to become their monster. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. Come on, man. Leave me alone. But regardless of that, the matches themselves really weren't all that bad, except for Fandango's. Fandango was the only match that I could not stand, because Fandango, he sucks in the ring. He just has no chemistry. He lacks everything. The only thing he can do is a leg drop, and he's very entertaining, and the fact that Summer Rae makes him look good, and the fact that his music puts him over, that's all he has. He has no skills in the ring. He really does need to improve on that, especially the fact that his last two pay-per-view matches were mediocre. He really does need to work on that. Mediocre or horrible. He needs to work on that. Seriously, please go back to developmental, not mineral. But regardless of that, he really does need work. Seriously, he does. But the Divas have impressed me. Not only the Total Divas that I'm a huge fan of, it also shows that the Total Divas are starting to crack. It's a given. Brie is a heel. It's a given that was going to happen. And she ended up taking a win away from Naomi. But I'm also impressed with Naomi. I'm impressed with the Funkadactyls being on their own instead of being the valets they were with tons of funk. I'm really impressed with them. I really am. Especially with Naomi. She's a very skilled woman in the ring. She kind of did change her outfits a little bit. And in the way that she kind of changed the way she looked and also performs well really did impress me. I really am. And I'm impressed with Cameron as well. She started to get better in the ring. She started to become more in the ring more. Instead of just being like the flashy valet she used to be, I'm kind of happy that she's actually starting to perform more in the ring. I'm really happy. She's getting better at it. She really is. And I'm looking forward to seeing where they're going to go with the Funkadactyls later on down the line. And also, I'm noticing that they're starting to make a feud between Natalya and AJ. Teacher versus student? Not bad, but I really don't want to see the title go on Natalya. I want to see it on someone new. The one gripe that I have about this match is they had the Total Divas with the same three divas that they had the night before. I want to see somebody new. Come on, guys. Bring somebody from NXT up from NXT to Raw and make their debut. I want to see Paige. I want to see Summer Rae wrestle. I want to see Eva Marie wrestle. I want to see new divas in the ring. Not the seasoned divas that have been there for several years. I want to see new, fresh faces. I want you guys to actually start pushing towards the future. Come on, please. Give me this. Come on, guys. Just give me some new divas that just to see in the ring, just to see them perform, because Paige is really good. Summer Rae's not bad. And Eva Marie is getting pretty good. I would love to see that happen. Just saying. But moving on down the line, we actually had a match between The Miz and Randy Orton. And Randy Orton kind of lost his... I mean, he really did lost his nuts and lost his head, whatever. He pretty much he just flat out lost it, and he literally almost broke Mrs. neck in front of his parents. But it was a good match overall. The Miz knew that this was a match that was going to probably pretty much put him towards the WWE title picture. I think it really was a good job that what he did in the match. I really did think that he did give it his all. It's a shame that it did not end, but it was storyline purposes. But I don't think that whole feud between them is going to be over. They might just bring something back up. It might just start a feud between The Miz and Randy Orton, which I think is going to be a great feud for The Miz and for him to actually start pushing up towards the WWE title picture. But the one thing that confuses me is this. Dean Ambrose had a match with Dolph Ziggler the night after Night of Champions, and Ziggler won, but he lost the pay-per-view. Yeah, okay. And so this puts him back in the U.S. title picture. I'm like, but it's such a downgrade for him. Like, is this really an improvement? I mean, I just don't see it. I really don't. But let's move on from all the other matches that went on, and the other matches weren't all that bad. But I want to move on to the meat of what was going on, like the meat of the entire storyline, and that is the main event. Honestly, I loved how Daniel Bryan came out. I loved the support that he got, not only from his comrades but also from Brie. I love the fact that he came out and gave it his all. And when I actually saw that he was fighting the Shield, I was like, oh gosh, another match with the Shield. Good grief, really? This is going to be really lame. It wasn't. I was highly impressed. I wasn't so much impressed with Daniel Bryan, but I was impressed with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was able to keep up with Daniel Bryan's fast-paced burst of energy attitude, and that's the one thing that really impressed me. Because I didn't think that Roman Reigns could keep up, but he really could. Pace by pace, he knew exactly how to counter him, and it was a really good match overall. The Shield played a good role in the storyline, as well as Randy Orton, seeing how Randy Orton was still heated from not getting the title back. It worked really well in the storyline. But what really did it for me was when you had the entire mid-card come out to the aid of Daniel Bryan. I loved it. I really did. It really does show that there's an uprising that's about to begin. It shows that the corporate regime is breaking down. It shows that these guys are fed up and we can't take it anymore. We're going to support this guy, and I love it. I really did love it. I think they did a really good job with storyline. My overall thoughts is this. This is really a great Raw. I enjoyed myself. I really did. The way that they actually did fit the storyline from last night on to now, they made it relevant for the characters. They made it relevant for the storyline itself. There wasn't any gaps in between. If there were, I probably did miss it. But either or, guys, I'm telling you right now, I enjoyed this Raw. This was probably this is up there with one of the best Raws after a non-Big Four pay-per-view that I have seen, and there have been many. But it's usually with the same pay-per-view. But with Night of Champions, you really wouldn't have expected anything like this. It's usually kind of mediocre. But honestly, they did a really good job with the storyline, and I enjoyed it a lot. But I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on Raw overall. Leave your comments in the comment section below, or send me a video response on how you feel Raw went and your opinions on Raw. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.